Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good whatever. Welcome to show number 239 in the ongoing series of the Bill Crane Report.
And it's New Year's.
And
It's Rosh Hashanah, I think.
is it really?
Yeah. I saw that in the paper this morning.
Yeah. I goofed up. I wanted to speak about Rosh Hashanah and the Jewish traditions and how envious I am of that. Rosh Hashanah.
What, having 2 New Years?
Yeah, well, no, not so much that, but how they reevaluate their lives.
Yeah.
And
Yom
it ends
Kippur
with,
is not-
and then
yeah.
it ends with the Day of Atonement. And you know, we can learn a lot by that.
Oh, we could, yeah.
You know, another subject for another day.
Yep.
Today, well, I must tell you before we get rolling here, folks, that I had this thought that I would like to do a show with maybe just 5 or 6 major subjects and be a serious show. Well, I got off the track and too many things happened and
right.
we're back to chaos here again.
We live by chaos, and chaos is expected from us.
Exactly. Starting right off with, well, I think the big story right now, in my mind, is Donald Trump has widened his lead in the Republican polling.
Yep.
He's up like, and please don't hold me to it, folks, but it's something like 57 points ahead of what? I mean, we all should get indicted, I guess, Dwayne, if it becomes successful like that.
You know what they say? Bad publicity, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Bad publicity is no publicity. When he spoke, I don't know where the hell he was, Iowa State Fair or someplace.
Yeah.
Every CNN, NBC, CBS, Fox, everybody was there covering every word he said. I said, how can he not be ahead? They hang on every word he says. They already did that back in the primaries. You remember, they would cover everything. He said, well, I don't have to spend any money on TV.
Yeah.
You people follow me around 24 hours a day. And they're still doing it.
Yeah.
CNN will complain about him, but yet they'll quote everything he says.
Not everything.
Well, but he does.
But
But he's always, that name is always being put out there.
he is the stick that stirs the drink,
Oh, absolutely.
whether we like it or
Yep,
not.
that's right.
But
It's going to be a different story, I think, come election time.
well. Okay. So what? And I wasn't fast enough to write down the numbers. They flashed them on
yeah.
the screen at the top of the hour as they led into Fox Financial. But I mean, he's just murdering everyone else.
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin is that Biden is losing fast.
That's right. He is. He's dropping poll
Yep.
numbers, number after number.
And now politicians in his own party and now the media has been told, okay, it's fair game. You don't have to protect him any longer. Get the story out there and we'll edge him off center stage and we'll bring someone else in. And we have to do it almost immediately because the primaries are coming.
Plus, he is getting the fallout from not only his own people, but he's getting the fallout from some of the Republicans also.
Yeah.
When Mitch McConnell stands up there and goes into the trance and the complete
Yeah.
thing like this, they see an individual doing it. They see a politician doing it, and they don't say, well, that one, that's who this is, and that's who. They see Biden in the same boat. So or Feinstein, or
He's the old guy from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You know that I never thought of it that way.
every time they
But
see
you-
an old politician, particularly if he fumbles, they equate to poor Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And about 90% of his foibles are covered up by the staff.
Oh, yeah,
Or
absolutely.
They are never on TV.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Howie Carr gets a transcript of everything that he says.
Mm-hmm.
All the news services do. But Howie
Even-
Carr prints it.
Yeah, oh yeah. But watch again, pay attention to him, how he moves now, as how he moved when he started. He tries to do that fake little jog up thing. He used to do that all the time.
Can't do
Now it's like, is he going to make that last 10 feet, or is he going to fall down?
Yeah.
And he shuffles them along as bad as I do some days.
Did you remember? Now let's go back to our childhood.
Yep.
When we saw old-fashioned movies.
Oh yeah,
And the handheld
Yeah.
projectors, and how stilted they were when they walked.
Yep,
This is how he is now.
yeah.
And his staff, well, the one over in Vietnam during that press conference, they shut his mic off, and she went out and got him.
Yep.
It's you're watching a once proud man go through what we're all going to face.
Yeah, he should have called it last year or the year before, not ran and say, that's it, folks.
An interesting point of view was made by a non-political person on Fox. He said, well, do you think it's Biden's own doing that he's running? Or is John Kerry and Barack Obama and that advisor of theirs,
Yeah.
they're the ones that are running the country. They're the ones that have the power.
Yeah.
And they are the ones making these radical changes. Do you think they want to give that up?
No.
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 So they are propping him up like you'd prop up a stick
yeah.
figure. And I said to myself, that's exactly what's going on, you know?
Oh, absolutely. He's very influenced by his advisors.
As in forced. I mean, what's her face there, the little press secretary?
Yeah.
She leads him around like you'd walk a cocker spaniel, for heaven's
The
sakes.
curly-haired black girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very wealthy little girl too.
with too much eye makeup on.
Yeah. Well, I did that bit in the last show that said that's the trend for the fall. More makeup.
Or makeup, yeah. Our makeup looks pretty good today.
Yeah, yeah. I still got my little zits on my
They
face.
get rid of our crow's feet and all that stuff.
Yeah. This stuff here, the doctor told me is, I said it's pre-cancerous stuff,
The
but
things
we'll
that are-
watch it.
The skin things?
Yeah.
I get them. I get them in the back of my hand. They're just spots.
I had surgery on the back of my hand. Yeah.
Did you? You get them capillaries break all the time.
Yeah.
You get the,
Yeah. The aging process.
yeah, it's all this stuff is so
all-
much fun.
It's all go. So anyway, I just think that was one of the most interesting stories of the morning. Now, Red Sox fired Chaim Bloom.
Yep.
5-year contract, and they fired him a couple of weeks before the end of the 4th year.
That's right.
Were they trying to humiliate him?
You know, I never thought of that, but that you never know with them people.
Yeah.
Like pretty much, Shaughnessy says, "Well, they just didn't fire enough. It shouldn't have been him holding the bag and walk away. There should have been a bunch of more that went with him."
Cora is the one that drives me nuts.
How in the hell he can survive?
Yeah.
I said one time, he must have some pictures on somebody.
He may not survive. Something happened. John Henry. Now, John Henry, we haven't heard from him all year.
No.
Not once. Not since spring training when he paraded around down there and talked to a couple of the players. So he's come out of the woodwork, and they called Bloom in, I guess, yesterday morning.
Yep.
He and the other fellow there.
Kennedy?
Kennedy there. And they said, "You're fired. Get out." that was essentially it.
That was it.
They just lowered the boom on him.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're saying, we're, headlines in the paper this morning, we're going in another direction.
We were when Blue came on board, too, don't
Yeah.
forget.
Every single time they change horses, for heaven's sakes, it's, we're going in another direction. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, one of the writers said, Bloom has got fault, Kennedy's got fault, and the owner has got big fault.
Big fault.
He's the one that set this in motion. But you can't fire him because he owns the team. But he said Bloom was given a job. It's like you're given a job to build a house, but you're only given half the money to do it.
And half the material. And some of it's wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you blame the builder because it wasn't right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's really and truly what happened there.
Well, they saw what happened in Tampa Bay. They built a very good team from a little bit of money, and they said, well, if they can do it, we can do it.
And do you know what? He's rebuilt the farm system.
That's right, he did.
And he signed, he actually he signed a whole bunch of players, but none of them really panned out that well. And I think that's what killed him.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, this musical chairs of people, but he rebuilt the farm system, and to that end, I think that was the biggest job of all, and he got it done. They get I think they're rated number 5 now out of 31 teams or whatever. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. There'll be a nationwide talent search.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh.
They already have the guy.
Yeah.
You know what? And that could very well be why they chose to do this now. To show that other guy, we're serious about hiring you. This isn't a lot of talk. We'll prove it. We're firing Boom right now. We're not going to wait till the end of the season.
Speaking of farm system, have you been to Worcester?
No.
I haven't either.
No.
I'm still PO'd about Pawtucket.
I really am PO'd about Pawtucket. And I was down there for years, and I loved going
I did
down
too.
there.
Summer was always going down to Pawtucket Red Sox.
And I just refused to go.
Same here.
Yep.
I said, I'm not making the trip to Worcester. You can.
Nope.
I don't care if you're down to 15 fans in the stand. You're not going to make it 16 and 17 with
That's
us.
right. That's exactly right. I don't care how beautiful the stadium is either. I'll watch it on TV. Well, all right. Now we got one more sports issue to discuss, and that was the events of last Sunday, the Patriots.
Okay.
Do you want to rethink your 4-13?
I thought about that. Not when the game started. I said I might have been over optimistic here. It might be 16-1. But at the end, when they started standing up and started playing again, I thought, I might have been a little pessimistic on that 3-14. 3-14.
4-13.
4-13. That's right. My math's not too good either.
That's not too bad.
But yeah, I'm probably not afraid of going a 50% team now.
Have you thought about what I said? That when I look at Mac, I see Bart Starr?
Yeah, he did have that second half. He had flashes of brilliance there. And the first half, they stumbled along.
Well, they sure did. But you know what? They were playing with 2 out of the 5
Yeah.
a regular offensive linemen. 3 brand new ones.
Yeah.
And they did not play badly.
No, they weren't as porous as I thought they were going to be. It's been a eye-opening weekend, though. You got to admit that.
Oh,
The first game, who would have ever thought that KC was going to get beat?
yeah.
KC sure didn't think they were going to get beat.
How'd Buffalo do?
Yep.
You know, there's all kinds of strange goings on, but that's the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL's done a pretty good job of arriving at parity.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Now, but you do have 3 or 4 teams that sink to the bottom, but they seem to. Well, you're not supposed to say this or think it, but they seem to sink down there on purpose so they can replenish the pantry with new players.
Absolutely. I don't remember what year it was. I remember the 2 teams. The loser was going to be the first draft pick next year.
Yep.
And somebody, I don't know which one of the announcers, called it the Stumble Bowl. He said, watch, he says, neither one team wants to lose or wants to win, but how am I going to make it so it's not totally obvious?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it doesn't look like a sham.
If I win, I lose.
Yeah. The NFL does have a couple of teams, though, with owners that are too bloody involved.
Oh, my God.
And they make a mess out of things. So the front office and the team, you know, they got to fight the opposition and
the owner.
The ownership.
Davis used to be like that in there in Las Vegas now.
Yeah. In Atlanta.
I don't know about his kid, but Davis, he was obnoxious. He was down on that line all the time.
Well, Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones in
Sure.
Texas, he's always down meddling in there.
And the guy in Atlanta that owns it, he used to go down and stand on the sidelines for the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know, like, you guys better, I'm down here now, damn it. You know, but he wanted to get on TV.
Well, of course.
The NFL finally told him, we're going to start fining you. If you don't stay in the owner's box. You don't belong on the field.
Yeah, the worst thing the owners can do is to meddle in the day-to-day operation of the coaching of the team.
Cleveland has got the husband-wife combination. My God, leave that at home in a kitchen, for heaven's sakes. But the baseball always seems to have the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Kansas City Royals at the bottom because of poor ownership, and they don't chase free agents. They rarely try to cheap.
What happened to the Yankees this year?
I'll tell you what.
They got a good lineup. They got a
great
good roster.
lineup.
What happened to them?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Mr. Steinbrenner is going to ask that question in about 2 weeks.
And they started out great, and they just like the downhill off a roller coaster.
Do you know Cashman down there, the general manager, has led a charmed life. A smart guy, and has done a good job, generally speaking. But he's fallen on evil times here. He may not survive this.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah.
But we go back to Cora. I don't know how he survives.
I don't either.
And he's never got an answer. Well, you know, maybe next week we'll do something different. Or yeah, we got another game tomorrow. We'll look at it. Well, you know how it is. And it's hemming and hawing. And, you know, it's like, step up to the plate, man.
And speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this business about, they asked him, they were looking for an answer about strategy, about baseball, and about how involved is he in, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he changed the subject around to communication. Do Do you know how difficult it is?
Oh, yeah, everything.
Spanish is not Spanish. Spanish is one language for the Dominicans. It's another one for the Venezuelans. It's another. So it basically is. I'm a linguist. I'm sort of like the United Nations translator, right? I have all these guys to talk to in their native tongues, and oh, woe is
So does
me.
every other team.
Which brings me to another subject. As far as I'm concerned, anybody that comes to this country and wants to stay here permanently has got to pass a linguist test.
I agree 100%.
Exactly. I mean, if
You live here, you want to assimilate, you speak English.
that's exactly right. We cannot make a mess of our country like they do in Belgium with the North and the Walloons and the South, and two different languages spoke and blah, 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 blah.
The biggest thing that holds back immigrants that come here
It does.
is lack of speaking the language. Now, I don't know if you spoke German when you got to Germany. There was a lot of English spoken, I'm sure, in Germany. But you get
Some.
some, okay.
Now, I was over there in the 60s,
Okay.
so yes, they may have understood what I was saying, but they gave me
Well, of course.
a go, sort of like the French.
French
did.
do that
Yeah.
too. They know damn well what you said, but they're not going to admit it.
Yeah.
But back in the '60s, when I got to Vietnam, now I'd been to language school, so I had a little bit of a step up against the typical guy getting off that 707 or whatever it was, and walking in. And very few people, a lot of people spoke French, but I didn't speak French. It might as well be another form of Vietnamese, because to me,
French Indochina.
yeah, French, I bet you half the country probably at that time spoke French, or some of it. But again, that was a foreign language to me. But I had enough of the language school from Vietnamese that I could get by. But I noticed, I often thought, now if I couldn't read those signs, or I couldn't get the idea what this guy is saying, I would feel like kind of lost, completely lost. It's like I was a child someplace, and I didn't know where to go, what to do, how to do anything. It's a very helpless feeling. But
It is. It is.
I ain't saying I didn't get in trouble with the language myself, because
Oh, yeah.
sometimes I would get the wrng word or wrong interpretation.
The wrong tense or
Oh, yeah.
something like
Well,
that. Yeah.
Tone. That's a tonal language.
Yeah.
And one word might have 8, 10 different meanings, all depends on how it's brought out of the throat.
Yeah. I faced the same thing in Germany, and I picked up enough to get by. Okay, so if I could make myself understood. That's
Generally, I
about
can
it.
read it better than I can speak it.
Really,
Yeah.
because you can do it slower.
And I can see what the sentence was and where they were going with
Yeah.
it.
Good point. Good point. So I'm happy with the over on the Patriots. I think they're going to do all right.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, I was impressed with the game.
I'll probably revise again and again and again.
We'll deal with it when it happens. I overheard a conversation by a couple of smokers. I had to pay $17 at such and such a place for a pack of Marlboros. Is that the going price for cigarettes now?
I don't know, but I know they're expensive, and I have not paid any attention to them. It's been 3 or 4 years, well, maybe more than that. And I was at Stop and Shop. I was at the service desk, and they had assigned something, but I think it was Marlboros too, $12. Or nine or something, 2 for $25. I don't remember.
Yeah.
To me, it was. I said, "Is that the price?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Oh my God, that's outrageous," because I hadn't smoked in 40 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, really never smoked cigarettes, so I never paid that much attention. But 17, that's almost a buck a fag.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How the hell can anybody justify that? But
It's like having a heroin habit today. I think.
But you're right. That's exactly right. I knew a guy that here in Norfolk, a friend of mine, who told me one day he was an alcoholic and a heavy smoker.
Yeah, they frequently go together.
Yeah. He said, I could quit drinking tomorrow,
Yep.
but I could never stop smoking.
Yeah, I think you could kick a cocaine habit quicker than you can kick a nicotine habit.
That thing, and and the government, our government, we've got to stop smoking. It causes cancer, and it does this, and it does that, and it makes the room smell, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, though, each state send your tax dollars, your tobacco tax dollars to the federal government.
Do they still pay tax or supplement to tobacco growers?
Now, I'm not sure about
They did
that.
for years and
Yeah,
years
for
and
years,
years.
yeah. They subsidized them. Yeah. Yeah,
Because
subsidized
I know there was
that.
one point where they were trying to people to stop, and then on the other hand, they were shipping money to the growers.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So the government is saying slow down or stop on one hand, but keep smoking and send us those taxes, tobacco taxes.
I was glad to see CVS people like that quit handling them. It was kind of a paradox that it was.
Yeah, we're here to save your life,
And then we're
and
selling
we're here to
cigarettes,
kill you.
Yeah.
I have stuff in here, but I just came up with, in fact, I come up with a bunch of stuff, but some facts that I uncovered over, we have 5.3% of the people over the age of 80 are still working or actively
80?
looking for work,
Yeah.
and they expect it to go up. How many of the current workforce plan to work past the age of 70?
Oh, I think probably a goodly portion. I know exactly. It was, well,
A
up
half.
Half, yeah. I was going to say well over a half. But
See, it's interesting. We're taking better care of ourselves. We're not living longer,
Yeah.
but there's some reasons for that. Drugs, alcohol,
yeah.
But people are staying healthier longer, and with inflation, people are not able to live on Social Security.
Yeah, that was a big. My mother was a big advocate for senior. She was a very active person in their senior community, and one year she was the senior citizen of the year for the state.
Wow.
And she got to go. She got to meet Bart Starr. That was she. Oh, and she was a football fan too.
Oh boy,
That was the highlight of her life, I think.
that was great.
Anyway, she was a big. She would always expounding on when we'd go someplace. Like we went to Walmart one time, and there's this greeter, and he looked like he should have been retired 10 years. Poor guy. And she says, "That's what's really wrong with this country." She says, "Some of these people have to work." She says, if they want to work, they want to work. But she says, we got to do something about the people that have to work, and they're doing it in misery and pain every day."
Yeah.
And she was right.
Well-
Her grandson labeled her a gray panther, like Black Panthers.
You know, So I'm changing my mind here the way I've got this written. So let me back into this then another way. One of the things that causes a lot of confusion in this country, there's one side over here and one side over here, and man, there doesn't appear to be any real middle ground. And that is government paid health insurance for everyone. Now, darn it all, if we can run Social Security as well as it runs, we could run a health plan
Of course we could.
if we had the will to do it.
Of course.
And it seems to me that rather than try to look at raising Social Security way up here so that we can afford health care, wouldn't it be better to have the government come in with an all-encompassing health plan? Now, that doesn't mean it has to be a Cadillac plan with every single bell and whistle in there, covering plastic surgery
Exactly.
and stuff like that. But for the basics, just straightforward coverage from the day you're born. Now, who would oppose that? Well, the Republicans.
Half the legislature.
Yeah, because, more government control. Well, I think we could arrange it so it would be government guidelines.
Yeah.
And then have,
Bill, any of this stuff could be done.
then have it subcontracted
Yeah.
through insurers, okay, that would govern the plan and administrate the plan and put some teeth in it so they couldn't sandbag the people. They had to treat them properly.
Anytime you hear something that this can't be done,
Yeah.
that's an excuse.
We can't get to the moon. Well, gosh, we got
Not
there.
there. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've been watching the news. Springfield's got a police chief.
Yeah.
He hasn't worked in 2 or 3 years, and they've been paying him all this time, and they want to get rid of him, but they just can't.
Wow.
Well, there's this regulation and this regulation, and they can't get around this, and can't get around that. They can't get rid of him. And he's got lawsuits again. I guess he's a bad actor.
Yeah, there's one up on the North Shore, too.
Yeah, there was another one.
That is referred to as a mafia don.
Yeah. Anyway, they couldn't get rid of him. And as much as I don't like the ACLU, this week they came out and they said, that's baloney. We will get rid of him. We'll take it to the offices, whatever it is, and he'll be gone. So they're going to step in now, and I don't like them people, but
No.
They said that's bull that you can't get rid of him.
You know, you can't sweep all the politicians out of the way. That's the bloody problem. Oh, come on. My brother-in-law is on the force out there. I can't vote for that, and give me a break. It's who you know.
Absolutely. Oh my God, who you know or what you do? Jack Jones.
Oh,
I mean, you or I went to Logan with a couple of loaded weapons in our carry-on. Hell, he'd still be in Walpole, where he could go.
yeah. Isn't that interesting that
He gets community service.
he gets to walk, gets a second chance? Well, wait a minute. Now, he's had 2, 3,
Oh, yeah, this is
4,
not the
5
first time.
second chances. Yeah. We love our football team.
We certainly do. And
Yeah.
our celebrities. And
Yeah. I love Taylor Swift.
I dated her for a couple of years.
Did you really?
Yeah, we kind of split up. We just
But
went
were
their different
you
ways.
the brains behind some of the lyrics in her songs?
I used to give her the ideas to write the songs for her.
You know, if it's true,
Pick out her costumes. And,
well, there wasn't a lot of material involved in
well,
those.
we had a very small budget.
you know, if it's true, she has got to be the most talented girl. They claim she writes all her own songs.
I don't know. I don't know much about the celebrity, but her music is good. I like her listening to her.
Yeah, I like
She's
looking.
cute.
I like looking at her
Yeah, she's
music.
very good looking.
But she's got to be amazing.
I used to tease my granddaughter when she was younger, you know, and she just, oh my God, but she still is a. And I said, oh yeah, she said, somebody gave me tickets to this Swift. So I didn't want them, I just gave them away. What? And she'd go crazy. Her dad would say, he's teasing you.
Ay, ay, ay. But anyway, this goes on to say, you know, that the role of oldsters is really, it's changing. And, but some of them point out studies that if you work, if you keep busy, if you're involved, say in a charity, it's work. Okay, maybe you're not getting paid, but it's work. They said that it has an effect on dementia.
Yep.
It lessens the possibility of the onset of dementia. It keeps the old brain cooking.
The only thing that kept slowed down my mother was arthritis.
Yeah,
She had both hips and both knees done, and
Yeah.
there was no more stuff they could replace, and
yeah,
the hands were going, and
yeah.
then she's like, I just got to slow down. It was just, the pain level was just so
Yeah.
high after a while.
But up here, if you keep busy, keep doing things, it's the best thing you can do.
Yep.
That's enough of that. One of the things that drove me nuts for a long time, well, there's a lot of things, actually, drive me nuts. But do you like the signs that appear on people's lawns? The liberal manifestos.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Science is real. Black Lives Matter. So I saw one the other day, right here in Norfolk, an American flag, and on the bars were a conservative manifesto written. So we have the liberal one that appears on so many people's lawns. Science is real. Everyone deserves health care. Well, I go on that. Black Lives Matter. Women's rights are human rights. No person is illegal. Love is love, whatever that means. Diversity makes us stronger. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I saw the conservative answer. We believe in the following beliefs. We believe to salute the flag. We believe to stand for freedom. We believe police protect us. We believe in borders. We believe in the Second Amendment. We believe all lives matter. We believe science is not political. We believe to be informed, not influenced. We believe unborn lives matter. We believe God is real.
Well, those points, while they are conservative points, a lot of them refer to just people with common sense.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. couple of the things that I really take issue with, again, we've talked about this, but Black Lives Matter. All lives matter.
That's right. When you start saying, well, this that's like Orwell's. All people are created. All animals were or Animal Farm. All animals were created equal, but some are more equal than others. That's what they're saying.
That's exactly what they're saying. Yeah. Women's rights are human rights. Did anybody say that wasn't true?
Yeah, well, that's an absurd statement.
Yeah. No person is illegal. Well, how about the guy that holds up banks?
Yeah.
Or extorts
killer.
money from his employer?
Yeah.
He didn't perform an illegal
these
act?
platitudey things,
Yeah.
they sound good.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
they translate good.
what they're talking about, of course, is the border and illegals crossing. Love is love. God only knows what that
that
means.
is, yeah.
That just words picked out of midair. Diversity makes us stronger. Now,
There's no proof of that.
no, there's no truth in that at all. I mean, and I've told the story before, but when I worked at the Foxborough Company, they tried to hire diverse folks to come in on the second shift, floor sweepers, okay? But these were unemployed from in Boston.
Yeah, I know that. I'm pretty sure I know the organization that you was.
Yeah. And we went in there, we had a job fair, hired 16 of them. They leased a bus, Foxborough Company. So on the following Monday, the first day of work, they went in to pick up the 16. There was 13 there. The second day, there was 8 there.
That's pretty common.
How does that strengthen the Foxborough Company?
It doesn't.
I mean, it's a lousy, stupid example, maybe. But, I mean, you hire people because they have qualities that you want.
Yeah.
Whether it be experience, education, they have drive, they're motivated to work. When you start judging workers by the shade of their skin, we're getting back to the old days of segregation.
Absolutely. That's
If you're black, step back. If you're white, you're right.
You can take all of these things and point them. When you start splitting up white and black and yellow and red and everything, you can hide behind any platitudes you want, but it's still racist.
Of course it is.
You're dividing stuff by race. It's racist. And I don't care what you can come back with me and all kinds of, but this means this and this. I don't buy it because you can use any kind of excuses you want. If you've got a historically black college and it's not racist, then why is a historic white college racist?
Exactly.
You can't have one without the other. And don't go back this goes back to slavery and we have to go this and we have to do that. Yeah, but if you go back that far, why don't you go back to the time of Cain and Abel? Why stop at one point?
It is truly amazing what we do with facts and figures and numbers.
Well, of course, we modify them to fit our point of view.
We are predicting the future of the climate in this country and the temperatures based on data from 300 years ago.
Yeah.
And what they do is they make an assumption, an extrapolation, throw in some fear and superstition, and say, here are the facts. Yep. Now we'll take them and run them out for the 300 years that have passed, and we'll go 300 years into the future with these numbers.
You're not solving a new problem today doesn't solve a problem from the past. You can't solve an old problem with a new problem, and that's what affirmative action tries to do.
Yeah.
Now, we would not dare say this at certain venues because we would be labeled racist immediately, and we're not.
No.
We're realists.
That's exactly right. I keep going back, and I've told this story so many times, but I'm going to say it one more time. I sat with a black gentleman in in the lounge, waiting lounge, in the Cleveland airport, and he was black. He had a tray, and just about every table was full. And he looked around, and well, I was sitting at a 2-foot table, just me, and I said, "Sure, please come over here." And he came over and sat with me, and we talked. And I'll never forget this. He said, "You know, the haters in this country," he said, "give us all a bad name." And I had my hand out like this. I was sitting like this. And he put his hand on top of my hand. He said, "Isn't it insane that the color of my hand is a measure of my intelligence? It makes this big difference between you and me." And I've never forgotten that. I mean, talk about the truth being laid in your lap.
Yep.
But it sometimes I go nuts over some of this stuff. I really do. But then when they put these things on the lawn and they put the love is love, what the hell does that mean?
I don't pay attention.
I don't know. Well, anyway, that's
The only ones I see on the lawn right now are Foxborough with their Warrior controversy.
Oh, is that rearing its ugly head again?
Oh yeah, there's a group that want to change their school logo and stuff. And by the looks of the response, if you drive around Foxborough, they're not the majority. The majority wants to leave it alone.
The majority wanted to leave the Washington Redskins the Redskins,
That's
but
right.
it was the white liberals that said you can't feel
do
that
it,
way.
yeah.
We feel your pain too. Oh, yeah. Twain.
You know, the only one that they haven't made fuss about is the Seminoles now. Florida.
The Florida Seminoles,
Yeah,
yeah.
because the
Oh,
Seminoles.
gee, there's quite a few others. How about the Atlanta Braves?
Well, the Seminoles came out and said, no,
Yeah.
we, with the Florida, we came up with that symbol. We authorized it, and we're proud of it. So all of a sudden, that group that changed that Native American thing lost all their steam.
They'll steam it back up again.
They'll come up with something. Whether
Yeah.
they didn't know what they were doing or something, something. Got it. 10.
Aha. I read an article that made so much sense to me. The right way for GOP candidates to address crime. First among these policies is adequately funding police departments to provide the resources and training for police to do their jobs. Calls to defund the police undermine public safety and most harm vulnerable citizens. In a recent survey conducted by the Adams Project, 87% of Republicans share the view that the calls to defund the police are misguided.
Of course, yeah.
Second-
Because when you defund the police,
Yeah.
you don't hurt the other guy. You hurt yourself.
And second is promoting incentives and accountability in the justice system, such as the policies found in the First Step Act. The bipartisan legislation advanced with support from former President Donald Trump provides second chances to deserving men and women who have accounted for their crimes, who pose little threat to their communities and have the tools necessary to lead productive lives in their communities.
Okay.
You know, those are, I agree with this totally. And unfortunately, you really need to change the way things happen in prison. So many of these guys are in there, don't have much education.
Granted.
And I ain't gonna go sit down and listen to no damn fool stuff read out of a book to me and all that. So you've got to find a way to get these guys to accept going to a school in a prison, whether it's extra privileges, whether it's a better TV, whether it's access to better desserts. I mean, look, it's a pretty limited field of things you can do for people in there.
It is.
But you should do them, because it's like a computer. You get out of a computer what you put into a computer.
GIGO, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. And you've got so many first offenders in prison, believe it or not, that lives can be changed. And, you know, you read, too, that, like, I don't know whether it's Boston College or Boston University, but they have a plan that they'll give you a 4-year degree while you're in prison if you do the work. And with Zoom now, holy cow, it makes things a lot easier.
Prisons could, you got to remember, your student body, let's call them, are not there to voluntarily.
Right.
They're not controlling what happens to them on a day-to-day basis. There's no reason, other than the ACLU and a few other people, that says, all right, tomorrow we're starting classes. These classes are not voluntary, they're mandatory. And based on what that prisoner comes in there as, if he's got an 8th grade education, well, he may get remedial reading, he may get remedial math, he may get civics, he maybe get something else that he's interested in. But not to say, well, you can go to the class if you want. That has to be, you will be in class. You know, you will pass it, or you will have something else. I don't know if you use a carrot or a stick at that point.
Well, you know what? Whatever works.
Whatever works, yeah.
Yeah. You know, you're really honing in on the truth here, I'll tell you.
Okay, 5.
If you cannot read,
That's right.
you cannot learn.
You can't function in anything.
No. I mean, and what the hell good are you going to be when you get out? Reading is such a basic building block.
Yep.
That I can't overstress how strongly I feel about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, reading is the key to knowledge.
And another thing with these guys is first of all, you got to remember that for the most of them, there are a few in their life without parole, but most of them are going to hit the street again.
95%.
That's right. Do you want them to go out like they came in, or worse when they go out than they came in? Because that's what you got now. Now you got guys in there bringing the whole group down to their lowest common level.
Yeah.
And you could take not only just classes like, you know, reading, all that kind of thing, great, but you also got to start teaching them what society is and where they fit in society. You got to have a mindset change.
Civics class.
Civics class is one.
From high school.
Yep. But you got to say, you have a responsibility to society. You're not cool anymore.
Right.
You know, you might have gold teeth and
a chain around
your neck and a 9mm. That don't make you cool.
That's right. Makes you deadly.
Yeah.
Well, you're absolutely right. And it seems to me that, yes, we want enforcement in the streets. Yes, we want the sidewalks to be safe.
Yep. It can be done because they take these hardcore, like particularly in California, hardcore gang members that have been a gang member all their life, that they've got programs where they change them. They come out responsible members of society.
Rudy Giuliani proved that you can clean up New York City.
Yeah.
If you can do that,
That's right. You can clean up almost any place.
that's right. And these are the kinds of steps that the Republicans have got
Yeah,
to
somebody's got
hone
to take.
in on.
Yeah, because
You
the Democrats got too many progressives that say, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. It violates his rights to do whatever he wants." Baloney. By not doing it, you're violating the rights of the law-abiding citizen.
Exactly right. I read an article that out in California that there's legislation that could fine a store employee up to $18,000 for interfering with a theft and grab
Yeah, I read something.
grab
like
and
that,
go
yeah.
or whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
Smash and grab.
Yeah. You could definitely get fired
Oh yeah. Yeah.
for interfering with a smash and grab. Yeah. So
Just absurd. Just absolutely absurd.
it is gone around the. And if the Republicans are smart, and I say that with a big if, they have got to talk about safety in the cities, safety in the streets, safety in stores, shoplifting, grabbing, all of that,
Yeah.
and talk about it every single day in the lead up to the election,
Yeah,
because people are scared.
That's right. There are certain things that we just simply should not tolerate. We will not, and we should not, and we will not tolerate.
That's right. And by the way, we've got to support the police 100%.
Yep.
But when the police uncover a bad guy
Yeah,
and then try to cover him up,
that's a
they
whole.
both go.
They both go. That's right.
This blue wall of silence has got to stop.
That's right.
But we have got to have an orderly society. I mean, our freedom depends upon it. If not, we're doomed.
That's yeah. We're just gonna fall into chaos. That's all.
Yeah. We'll be in the ash pile of history. So, on that note, folks, on that joyous note, we'll take a little break. And you can,
pop some popcorn.
Yeah.
Crack a cold one.
yeah, run a little Jack Daniels into the water glass.
If it's early in the morning, hey, it's 5 o'clock someplace.
That's right. And we'll be right back.
Bye-bye.